Yes. Okay, so once we're in the main menu here, for field calibrations, best first step would be to navigate to the service values menu. To get there, we hit F3, get to our extras menu. We navigate down to service values. Once we enter into the service values menu, the pump will begin running, and this will allow fresh air to go over the sensors and for the whole system to be purged, and will allow the sensors to stabilize. For field calibrations, we recommend a sample time of 10 to 15 minutes after turning the analyzer on for optimal fresh air purge. Once the analyzer has run for several minutes, we want to put the analyzer into service mode. In order to do that, we'll escape out of the service values menu, and we'll navigate up to the service menu. From here, it'll ask for a service pin code whenever we try to enter into this menu. To enter into the service menu, we just enter in the service code. And this will be specific to each analyzer for a calendar year and can be, we can essentially give a code for any analyzer to be serviced, but it'll be specific to that analyzer. Did I enter?
Ahí me perdí. ¿Cuál fue el código?
Okay, I think that code that you sent me last week, remember? I had Jesse send it to me, but I think I forgot to forward it to you guys. He's looking in his email right now. You can see a lot of different adjustment options: gas factor, adjustment gas nominal value, NDIR adjustment, draft adjustment, temperature adjustment. We'll be working with just two of these, and that will be the nominal value and the NDIR. So the nominal value menu will open up to calibrate the electrochemical sensors, the oxygen and the H2S, and the infrared, the NDIR adjustment will open up the adjustment for the infrared for the CO2 and the methane. But so we'll use those options. We'll have to come back to them though, because we're going to exit out of this menu just one more time.
¿Me regreso, ingeniero? Okay.
So another step that we usually take is what we call a leak test, and it's an internal check for the analyzer, just to it can check its own internals for leaks. Usually, how we do that is with the ports on the bottom. So from the gas inlet, which is here on the left, we use just a short hose to bridge across to one of the pressure inlets. And essentially what the analyzer does with the leak test is it pulls against its own pressure sensor.
Wait for read the house. Déjenme hacer el puente ese.
So once the jumper is put in, we'll be in the extras menu, and we'll navigate down to leak proof test. It'll be the second to last menu option in the extras menu.
Okay.
And then we'll click on that. We'll press enter. So what it'll do is it builds a vacuum and then does a 10-second test and measures how much of the vacuum is lost.
Okay. It says okay.
Mm-hmm. It just says Yeah, it says okay. Does it have? Can I see the screen real quick?
Yeah, it says okay. You can see
It's not. On my screen, you can see it actually has a value for the vacuum that's being pulled, and then it'll give a percentage of how much of a quote unquote leak it has. But then after the leak proof test, we'll escape again to the main menu. And we'll navigate down to zeroing. And then we'll select that. So after the fresh air purge and then the leak proof test, we run a 0. So you've purged the whole analyzer with fresh air. So now we run a 0 so that it calibrates to fresh air values.
So if I make the pressure test and say not okay, it's because it's problem the device, okay? Thomas?
Say that again?
If I make the test, pressure test.
The condensate trap for a leak. So that could be that since these are all threaded together, each section of this, if any of these threads are loose, you can have a leak. You can have fresh air coming in. And then also on all of these, there's an O-ring. You see that orange O-ring inside on that part, and then on the top, there's a black O-ring in there. And so if any of the O-rings are cracked, broken, stretched, that can cause a leak as well. The other suspect is this big O-ring on top. This could be damaged. And then also on the bottom, these O-rings right here, 2 O-rings, these could be damaged as well. So probably with situations that are just the analyzer, about 6 or 7 times out of 10, it'll be something to do with one of these O-rings or threads. And then same goes for the O-rings at the bottom right here. Because remember, to do the pressure test, you have to go to the pressure inlet. So if the O-rings here are messed up, then you'll get fresh air into the leak test. So after it's zeroed, it's ready for calibration. So from the main menu again, we just go F3 to extras, and then navigate back to service menu. And then we have all of our adjustment options again. So from here, we will navigate to adjustment gas nominal value.
Wait a little bit, please.
Mm-hmm.
It's in service menu. I just barely, okay.
And then so we'll go in there, and you can see oxygen and H2S are 2 electrochemical sensors are there in the options.
Okay.
So from here, one thing that we'll just confirm, the oxygen value looks really good for us, so because it's reading fresh air, so it should be around 21%. And H2S is reading essentially 0. So we'll start sampling gas. So those are the nominal values. So this is the nominal value adjustment. So that's going to be what we set, or we should set those to our cylinder values. So for us, that would get set to 10% because our cylinder value is 9.99. Or sorry, our cylinder value is 0. But whenever we calibrate at different points of oxygen, it'll be, so the oxygen you won't have to adjust because we're just going to be calibrating to 0% oxygen, what you guys have in the blend. But the H2S will adjust to whatever value we have in our cylinder. So,
en ese menú, ingeniero, yo tengo NO.
So to adjust the cylinder values, or the nominal values for the gases, all you need to do is navigate to each individual gas with the up and down arrows, and then adjust the values up or down with the right and left.
Okay.
And since we're in this menu right now, we have the 0. We can start sampling gases. So I'm going to connect this hose that has my gas into the gas inlet on the bottom of the condensate trap. And if you look at it right now, you'll see the oxygen value start to come down. And right when it starts getting around 1%, once it gets under 1%, and then it starts to become stable, you'll see this option pop up right here. You see set O2 to 0. Yeah, so that's why we don't need to change the 10% because it opens up this option whenever the O2 percentage has come low enough. So it safeguards itself from an improper 0 gas.
Ya me apareció la opción, pero no está estable totalmente. Sigue bajando.
So since it's getting near 180 seconds is 3 minutes, we'll start the calibration process at 3 minutes.
Hay mucho ruido.
So with the oxygen,
entonces, Thomas.
yes, sir.
Already is stable. I push F2 or auto for oxygen.
Yes.
Okay. So
we'll press that now.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to H2S.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll go to the cross F3.
Okay.
And then it'll open up a different menu or a different window. And then when it has auto set on the bottom, we'll click F2.
Okay. Ya perdí, ingeniero.
That's our electrochemical.
Okay.
The electrochemical sensors are good.
So then I take off the gas?
No, so we'll go back out, escape one more time, and then go to NDIR adjustment, the one just under.
Okay.
So now we've got methane, CH4, and carbon dioxide, CO2.
Yeah.
And we'll only use the factors. So you see this has CH4 factor. We'll change that number. And we'll change this number, CO2 factor. And we'll just put those numbers until they match what's on the bottle. So these are the values that it's reading: methane percent, carbon dioxide percent, and then these are the factors that it's using. So we'll have to adjust these until they're at the right value. So mine, I just need to adjust the methane factor just down 1, and that's a good value for me because I have 60% in my cylinder.
Okay.
And I actually have 39.96, so this is a really good value here. So I'm not going to touch that one. But we'll just adjust
I'm
the
adjusting
factors.
CH4. Wait a minute.
And then one thing that we want to look for is we want to see the values from the gas, especially on the infrared. We want to see them come down really quick. The infrared is really responsive, and so as soon as it starts seeing fresh air, it should come down really quick. So probably within a minute, it should be near 0%. Hit escape from this adjustment window. And then when we hit escape again, it'll open up a dialog box and ask if we want to store the values.
Okay.
So then we'll just click OK to store. And the calibration we just did, it saves it like that. So it saves all the numbers that we changed. The good thing is if you press escape and that comes up and you press escape again, if you keep going, it'll save it anyway. So if that happens, don't worry. we do that a lot where we press escape twice really quick and then we go past the window, but it saves it anyway. Because those are, especially NO2, is cross-sensitive to H2S. So you'll want to do the H2S last so that the NO2 isn't wonky whenever you try to calibrate it. If you do the biogas first, then you'll have to probably fresh air purge and then do the NO2. But if you do the NO2 first, it should be fine. Same navigation. So this is the main menu in the compact. But when you press F3, it'll take you, show you something real quick. Just the hardest part about changing a sensor is actually just opening this up. And it's not that hard, not really that hard anyway. There's just a few tricks. First of all, we want to turn off the analyzer. And then when we open it, we turn it over and then turn it on its side here. So the condensate trap comes out towards us. It comes out of that side. And then these right here are the bolts holding it together. These are Allen keys. So just hex nuts like that, really small. So 4 of them at the 4 corners. And then whenever we open it, we want to open it like a box. So we're going to flip it out away from us. So we'll pick up the bottom part of the enclosure, pick it up to straight up, and then we'll open it like that. And the reason we do that is because of this hose. It kind of lays across, and also the battery cable hooks into this side. So we don't want to be pulling on the cable, so whenever we have it like this, we open it up. And then to replace the sensor, we would recommend to disconnect the battery. It's just a connection right here. So it just plugs in. And then if you pull this sensor chamber right here, just a silicone and plastic piece, you pull this straight up, and be careful that how much this is the infrared right here. This wiggles around. So we can pull that up with it. We want to pull that straight up and then open that as well. And then these are the sensors.
So
So
the
then
infrared comes with the car?
board. So this is the board, and then this is the chamber.
Okay.
And so it's on pins. I don't know if you can see the pins.
Okay, when I buy the...
You can see it has a bunch of pins and then receptors. So you have to line it up to the pins, all of them at once, and then press down. And then one thing is we'll make sure that this hose, that's the vent hose, make sure it's not kinked. So we can turn. This has a track. You see how it goes into the enclosure? So we just make sure that those are lined up. So whenever you come on top, just make sure it sits into there. And then make sure all the hoses are tucked inside. This piece likes to fall out. You can see it comes out the front. It's the cover. So just make sure that that sits in there. See, it fell out again. You should just stick it in there because it just kind of hangs.